On this week's episode, Amazon's cloud gaming platform Luna has just announced a brand new partnership with EA, resulting in big game energy coming to the platform on top of 4 new countries where Amazon Luna is now available. Nintendo held a surprise direct, dropping new details about Metroid Prime 4, a new digital game sharing service, and we discussed the thick anticipation surrounding next week's Switch 2 Direct. Plus, we gotta talk about our game of the week, ATOMFALL. It's out right now, and we're gonna dive straight into it. All of this and a whole bunch of nonsense on this week's episode of the Nerf Report.
Are you listening?
Strangers from distant lands and friends of old, you've been summoned to another episode of the Nerf Report. Thank you so much for hanging out with us this week. And thank you to everybody listening to us over on Spotify and Apple Podcast. As we talked about last week, I really hope that right now you're listening, you're playing your video games, and you're trying to get those platinums, you're trying to get those achievements. And if you are, and by chance you're playing Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, just know what you're looking for, it's on the right behind the bush. Just keep on going, forward, keep going, almost there. Oh, you went too far, back it up. Back it up. No, turn around. Head straight. There. I got you it. Always looking out for my gamer friends. This is kind of a fun week. We got a cool announcement to announce. Obviously, the big, humongous Nintendo Switch 2 Direct is next week on April 2nd, and I am excited to stand here on the show today and say the first ever Nerf Gaming News Live will be taking place on April 2nd. Yeah, we will be kicking things off in the studio at 7:45 Central Time and enjoying the showcase with you in the morning, and then kind of discussing the announcements, kind of where we're heading after that, and then wishing you all an adieu as you go throughout your day for the rest of that day. I had a crazy week. Hopefully you had a really good week. I went to Kansas. I was in Nebraska, and I was in Missouri this week. And a lot of driving, a lot of flying, a lot of traveling, a lot of hotel rooms, not a lot of gaming, but you know, there's always time for video games in the world. I will say, we were in Kansas, and I saw the Wizard of Oz Museum. There's a small little town in Kansas where they've got the Oz Museum, and then right across the street, Yellow Brick Road. I was like, man, that's awesome. I love that the town's like embracing it. They're like, we are the Wizard of Oz town. Congratulations to them. But I didn't go inside, didn't have time, but it definitely looked like a really cool thing. The other cool thing I saw was I was in, I think, Missouri or I was in Kansas. It's all kind of a blur at this point. But we were in a business park that was underground. So essentially in this area, there's a bunch of limestone mines and they dig it out and, they put like government storage, but there's also facilities there for businesses. And so one of our customers was actually based inside of this limestone mine. And here we are hundreds of feet underground. You got stone rock that's cleared out. There's pillars that are the size of my house that are holding up this mine. And you're just like, man, I'm underground. I'm underground right now, but super awesome. Anyway, like I said, fun week for me. I hope you guys had a great week as well, filled with tons of video games. Big week, but also a big week for video games. We had a ton of games released this week, so let's go ahead and pull those ones up. On Monday, March 24th, we had 2 video games that came out. We had a little game called River Towns, and then you had Dark Deity 2. Both cool games, not up my alley, but Dark Deity 2 does look like it could be a very fun experience. Tuesday, March 25th, another game came out called Breakout Beyond, which Breakout was like an original Atari game, I believe. And then it came to fame on the Apple iPod Classic, where you could like move the center little thing. Remember that? I mean, there's a whole bunch of kids that are like, this is my iPod. No, shout out to my fellow iPod generation where we were gaming on that thing before Apple Arcade. But Breakout Beyond, essentially you got the platform, you're bouncing the ball back and forth, and you're just kind of having fun there. Nothing happened on March 26th. Sad day for the world of gaming. 0 games released on Wednesday. Jumping to Thursday, March 27th, we had a big day of video games. The first one, we had Karma, which looks like a really cool psychological horror video game. And I will say, this game, I was impressed by what I saw in the trailer, but also the social media team dropped a photo of a custom PS5 just for Karma. Might be the dopest PlayStation 5 of all time. Like, I'd love to have that. As a fan of horror, as a fan of horror video games, and as a fan of the PlayStation 5, yes, fam. Just give it over. The other game that released was Inzoi, and I think I'm pronouncing this correctly, but this one was kind of a shock for me, to be honest, because this is essentially like a grown-up version of The Sims. It's super high like definition graphics. It's super realistic. You know, you're creating an avatar, you're going out into the world, you're doing your things, and then like you're controlling their life. This game, I wrote it down because it's a crazy stat. This game became the most wish-listed game on Steam after being announced, and it's available now, and I know a lot of people are loving it. A little bit of controversy surrounding it, but I know a lot of people are having a great time with it. After that one, we had Inya Life After Gods. We jumped to Gal Guardian, Servant of the Dark, The Final Berserker Kazan, and then our game of the week, ATOMFALL, dropped on March 27th. We'll be diving into that game a whole lot here. But then on March 28th, Friday, we had a really interesting game drop that I knew nothing about. And then I pulled up the trailer and I was like, oh my God, this game looks right up my alley. So essentially, Dollhouse Behind the Broken Mirror is a first-person horror video game right up my alley. Absolutely everything I love. But I think the graphics really surprised me here. Like, this looks like such a great game, and I'm surprised this is the first I'm hearing about it, as involved as I am on social and seeing new games drop. So this one's been put on my wish list. I will definitely have to check this one out. But yeah, these are the video games that launched on the week of March 24th. As always, sound off in the comment section, letting us know what you played. What are you playing? What did you pick up? Did you pick up any of these games, or are you still playing a game from last week? Are you playing a game from a couple months ago? Or, no shame, and this is a judgment-free zone, maybe you're playing a game from the N64. Let us know in the comment section down below. And, before we jump into our game of the week and we start talking about ATOMFALL, I wanted to talk about something that I thought was absolutely hilarious that happened this week. And it involves Assassin's Creed Shadows, last week's game of the week, which I would like to take a second and congratulate Ubisoft. Ubisoft is having a lot of success with this game, rightfully so. Everything I'm seeing, I haven't had a chance to play it yet, but everything that I am seeing and watching and hearing about this game, people are loving it. And the data came out yesterday. Assassin's Creed Shadows has officially sold 3 million copies in its first 7 days. So round of applause to Ubisoft, round of applause to Assassin's Creed. I hope this continues to grow. Now, in any week, selling 3 million copies in 7 days would be the story that we would all be talking about. However, in the case of Assassin's Creed Shadows, not to use a pun, but this announcement, this story, was overshadowed. Yeah, over on X. There was a little bit of a thread going down here. Let's pull this up real quick. So this is going to go down in the halls of social media history. Ex-owner Elon Musk came out and criticized Assassin's Creed Shadows teaming up with the content creator Hassan for a paid streaming opportunity. Spoiler alert, the majority of the streamers out there take these opportunities, so it's not like it's a big deal. But anyway, Elon Musk tweeted, "Sellout would be more accurate. Objectively, he is promoting a terrible game just for money." To which the legend that is the social media manager over at Assassin's Creed Shadows took a second and said, you know what? We could ignore it. You know what? We could let the owner of this social media platform have his day. We could let them go on and we could not even acknowledge the hater. They have probably gone through multiple trainings that have said when they go low, we go high. Ignore the hate. Don't feed into the anger. But the social media manager in this very moment said, I'm putting it all on the line. I'm pushing all my chips in. I might get fired for this. But they responded to Elon Musk saying, is that what the guy playing your Path of Exiles 2 account told you? Which, let's just be careful here. Allegedly, Elon Musk likes to pay other gamers to boost up his accounts to make it look like he's a better gamer. And I think that in this case that the Ubisoft social media manager is talking about is Elon was saying, yeah, I've got some other things going on in my life. I'm defunding the government. I've got inaugurations to attend. Obviously, I can't keep up with Path of Exile, so I pay 6 figures to somebody to play it for me, which, no judgment. Elon, you want to give me 6 figures, I will play whatever game you want me to play for you. You want me to play Candy Crush and get your numbers up? You want me to do your Duolingo? Elon, I will do your Duolingo 6 figures. Hit me up in the DMs. But I will say, all of that, the social media manager at Ubisoft deserves a damn raise. Like, they risked it all. And there was a reality where X and Elon could have gotten so butthurt that they banned Ubisoft off the platform, and they're like, you no longer have an X account, which I don't think would be a big issue for Ubisoft, but I think that's a real reality. But they did it. They pushed back. And Ubisoft, I will give you all the praise in the world for this, and I think that you should be looking at this and seeing the responses, the positive responses that you're getting from this, and do this moving forward. Make video games. Don't need to apologize. You don't need to explain. Just make the games that you want to make and just throw some punches. You know, and if you're like, man, I don't think developers should really be taking these risks, we got to pull up the comment section, because there are a bunch of people in the comments right now that are like, I'm buying the game now because of this pushback. I'm buying this game because of the ballsiness of this social media manager. I am buying Assassin's Creed Shadows. Another person put, like, imagine paying $40 million or whatever it was for Twitter only to get ratioed and just owned by Ubisoft. But yeah, that's kind of where we are in America today. One of the most powerful men in the country is taking time out of his day to get onto social media and attack developers who are trying to create games, who are trying to create memories, who are just trying to create places of escape for people. And look, congratulations to Ubisoft. Continue standing your ground. Keep punching. I stand behind this fully. Now, up next, we're diving into this week's Game of the Week, ATOMFALL. But before we do that, let's say a special thank you to our Nerf Gaming News Plus members. Did you know that on average, 12 video game podcasts die every single week? Now, is that a real stat? I don't know. I do this show by myself. We can't hire researchers, but with your support, we can avoid becoming another statistic and keep on making really cool content like this show, along with other cool shows in the future. That's right. By becoming a Nerf Gaming News Plus member, you not only help support independent games media, but you help us create really cool gaming content. Ah, look at that. Another gaming podcast just bit the dust. I guess we should make it 13. This week's Game of the Week is ATOMFALL. Yeah, this game looks incredible. And look, as a fan of Fallout, I am super intrigued by this video game. Plus, the other thing that I think is worth noting here is ATOMFALL was developed by Rebellion, which, if that name doesn't sound familiar, Rebellion is the studio who made Sniper Elite and Zombie Army, which has given us countless hours on social media of sniper footage of people just shooting off the balls of Nazis or just blowing off the heads of zombies. And the idea that they're now taking all of that world and all of that experience that they have and putting it into like their version of a Fallout game, I think is super intriguing. The other thing that was really kind of interesting about this game is IGN came out this week and said that ATOMFALL is a mix of Fallout meets Elden Ring. And they said that because like the open world is filled with mystery and you're trying to figure out like who you are. But honestly, I don't see it. When I look at this trailer and I look at the gameplay and I've seen all the streams this week, I see a Fallout game here. I see a great British bake-off version of Fallout. And look, obviously we're going to dive into what makes this game special, but I do think it's important to kind of dive into what the majority of the people who have played it and what the reviews are saying. So let's go ahead and pull up the Metacritic score. Right now, ATOMFALL has a 75% on Metacritic. And, that's not as high as some people were hoping. And then you go through here, there's a lot of mixed reviews. And I think that that's super apparent, especially when we get to the actual reviews and what some of the publications are saying. So let's go ahead and pull that one up real quick. First up, IGN gave ATOMFALL an 8 out of 10. Eurogamer gave it a 3 out of 5. GameSpot gave the game a 7 out of 10. Gaming Bible gave ATOMFALL a 9 out of 10. Games Radar Plus gave it a 4.5 out of 5. And Push Square gave ATOMFALL an 8 out of 10. A 4.5 out of 5 is a really weird one, right? Games Radar Plus, love you guys, but that's a really weird score. Like, it's good enough to be a 4, but it's not good enough to be a 5. We're just right in the middle. I feel like you're skirting the line. Like, it's almost a perfect game, but, there was a couple misspells. It was just not spelled properly. There was a couple grammatical errors that we couldn't get behind. I don't know how I feel about half scores there. And look, this game has caused a lot of mixed reviews. Like we said, you look at the Metacritic score, you look at what they're trying to accomplish over there, and there are some people being like, hold up, yes, this is a fun game. Yes, it's a really beautiful looking game, but it's not Game of the Year. And I think that's perfectly fine. Not every single game that is going to release this year should be Game of the Year, but ATOMFALL looks like a game that you could totally play this week and completely just dive yourself into it and escape from the world, which I think is what we need right now. And it's also the conversation of like 2025 has been a nuts year for gaming, right? We got ATOMFALL this week, Assassin's Creed Shadows, we had Split Fiction, Doom Eternal's coming down, we got a new Pokemon game coming, we got a brand new Metroid game coming, Grand Theft Auto 6 might grace us with their presence this year. It's a crazy year for gaming, but that's where this becomes tough, right? Because ATOMFALL is definitely the best game that launched this week, which is why we're saying Game of the Week, but there are going to be people who are like, this does not deserve Game of the Week contender, whereas I'm like, no, I think if you look at the games that launched, this is definitely the best game. And I think it looks super intriguing. And I'd like to kind of talk about the things that I think are super cool about this and the things that are pulling me into the game. Now, in case you're not aware, ATOMFALL is a survival action video game inspired by the real-life Windfall nuclear disaster in England. Whereas in ATOMFALL, the game basically takes place 5 years after the disaster, and you are by the meltdown plant, and you're just like cut off from the rest of the world in like this British countryside. And some of the things that I think are really cool here, and some of the things I think are really cool, and I've seen during like the ATOMFALL streams, this game is very liberal in how it allows you to journey. The map itself is not like flooded with side quests. You know, in a lot of these open world action adventure games, you're just basically like, oh man, here's something for me to do. Here's something for me to do. Whereas in ATOMFALL, like many of the missions and side quests are uncovered from just like walking up to people and having conversations. Or I think IGN discussed how like having smoke coming out of the chimney, and that's supposed to draw your attention that you need to go to this building. So I think it's really cool that it literally lets you play this game how you want to play. Plus, the missions you decide to do and the way you do them impacts the ending of the game. So there are multiple scenarios to change the outcome of this game. Another thing that I think is really cool about ATOMFALL is the fact that the hero or the player that you're playing is not a hero. Right? He's just like an average Joe. And yeah, I feel like ATOMFALL really grounds you as a player, right? Like you're an average Joe. You're not like Rambo. You're not a killing machine. And you've got to manage things like your heart rate. So when you're swinging your bat or you're swinging the cricket bat, you're kind of managing, not making sure you're not running out of breath. And honestly, I know there are people out there who hate that, but I, for one, I feel like I'm finally seen in a video game. Right? I always laugh at the games where I just go in and I'm like, I'm a cardio machine. I can fight all day. Finally, ATOMFALL comes along and they're like, hey, this game is for the guy who gets exhausted tying his shoes in the morning. I feel seen. And thank you, Rebellion. I really appreciate that. And the final thing that I think that we really should point out here is this game is not Fallout, but it is very Fallout-y. I know IGN is like, it's kind of like Elden Ring. It's very Fallout. Inside of this game, there are like cultists, there's robotic enemies, you got to explore caverns, and there's shelters that have like loot, and even some of the conversation prompts that come up, I'm like, ooh, that looks very Fallout-y, which isn't a bad thing, right? Like, I don't want anyone to take that and be like, oh man, the devs can't make their own genre, they're just ripping off Fallout, man. No, it's like, hey, I think that what we have here is Rebellion has come along, and they're like, we love Fallout, we're inspired by Fallout. Let's see what our take would be on a Fallout-style game. And I hope we see more developers try to make a Fallout game, right? Like, maybe in the future, when we say things like Metroidvania or like a roguelike, we'll then say, oh, this is like a Fallout game, right? That'll be the description for the genre. So hopefully Rebellion is the first of many that'll kind of get into this genre, and we'll kind of grow and explore it there. But yeah, shout out to the team at Rebellion. ATOMFALL is our game of the week, and it is available right now for PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox. And from the world of ATOMFALL, let's dive into Amazon Luna, because Amazon Luna is doubling down on cloud gaming and just announced brand new territories and a brand new partnership with EA that, dare I say, will bring some of the best Star Wars games of this generation to the cloud gaming platform. Now, there's going to be people out there be like, oh, it's not Podbaser. It's not Star Wars Battlefront. No, it's not those. But you look at the Star Wars games that we've got in this generation, these two, top tier, S tier, right? Everything else, let's not talk about that. These two, gems. But yeah, this is a big week for Amazon Luna and a big week for the lunatics out there. In case you missed it, I saw this story break over on 9 to 5 Google this week, and I gotta say I'm pretty hyped. Ben Schoen over at 9 to 5 Google shared the news that Amazon's cloud gaming platform has announced a multi-year partnership with EA, adding their games to the service on top of expanding the platform to Sweden, Portugal, Belgium, and Luxembourg. EA and Amazon Luna. That EA partnership is a big deal for Luna, man. Like, last time we spoke about Luna, I think that this is definitely worth talking about. We were talking about how the former Amazon executive came out and he was expressing doubt of Amazon Luna. And he's like, we've never been able to catch ground. And what's the future of cloud gaming going to look like? If Google failed, how can Amazon succeed? And honestly, that story really didn't leave me super optimistic about the future of cloud gaming and the future of Amazon Luna. But now we got this news. And I'm like, I have a completely different outlook. And hopefully this news leads to EA games that are bought on the EA store or other platforms becoming playable on the Luna store. Similar to how GOG and the Epic Game Store comes. I would love to see EA be like, hey, if you bought the game through Steam, if you bought it through the Epic Game Store, if you bought it through GOG, we'll essentially allow you to play those on Amazon Luna. I'm all for that. EA already said that more games are coming. So not to jump the gun, EA, let's pull the camera in real quick. Madden, EA Sports FC, It Takes Two, and Split Fiction. All of those on Amazon Luna. Please and thank you. Now, initially, the Amazon Luna and EA partnership will result in 2 games coming to the platform. Dead Space, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and Star Wars Jedi Survivor. 3 solid video games right there. Dead Space, absolutely a EA classic. And if you haven't played it yet, what are you doing with your life? Obviously, still listen to our show, but boot up Amazon Luna right now, start playing Dead Space, and just listen to my voice as I walk you through the terrors of space. And then you got Survivor and Fallen Order. We talked about that, but that is peak Star Wars content right there. And the fact that they are now playable on Amazon Luna is super cool. The fact that I can sit down, power up my Fire Stick or power up my Fire TV and play Star Wars Jedi Survivor instantly, I think is incredible. And it's congratulations to EA. Congratulations to Amazon. I think that this is great news for the lunatics out there. And definitely worth noting here, this isn't one of those that I own the game on another platform. I can now play them on Luna. The Star Wars Jedi Survivor, Dead Space, and Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order will initially be available through Luna Plus. So even if you own those games on another platform, it's $9.99. And again, the thing that I think is super cool here, right, is this isn't a one and done port. There are more EA games coming to the platform. Right? EA said that they were planning on bringing more games, so I got to assume the lunatics out there are thrilled about this. And EA is even thrilled about this because the executive vice president of EA, David Tinson, wrote, "We look forward to a selection of EA games joining Amazon Luna, offering new ways for players and fans to come together across a variety of devices that they already own, wherever they are." Big week for Amazon Luna. And let's not overlook the other news, right? That alone would be man, this is a great week for Luna. Congratulations. We got 3 new games, 3 great new games to play on the platform. But that's not the other news. We got other news on top of this, right? It's like Christmas for cloud gamers. Amazon Luna is now available in 14 different countries. Again, we discussed not feeling optimistic about the future of cloud gaming, and the fact that Amazon is expanding and adding more resources to their cloud gaming platform is a very good sign for cloud gamers and for the lunatics. And hopefully we see more, right? Hopefully we see more countries get added. I think Google Stadia at the closure was 22 countries, which, we got time. Xbox Cloud Gaming currently is available in 28 different countries. And GeForce Now, the overachiever that they are, they're available in 71 different countries. So Amazon Luna definitely has some room to grow there. And I think that they will continue to grow it. It's just, it's kind of the tortoise and the hare conversation right there. And Amazon, obviously, in honor of the new countries, is celebrating and offering an introductory price for the Amazon Luna Wi-Fi controller. And anyone looking to become a lunatic in Sweden, Belgium, or Luxembourg can get a introductory discounted price on the Luna Amazon Wi-Fi controller right now, which, again, Wi-Fi controllers basically communicate directly to the cloud gaming. You hook your controller up to your Wi-Fi, it communicates to the servers, and then the servers shoot back to your TV. If you're doing Bluetooth, it's cool. It works. It's fine. It's just not as good, right? Your Bluetooth controller communicates to your TV. Your TV then communicates to the servers. The servers then communicate back. It's just a little more latency out of that way. So if you haven't tried out the Amazon Luna controller, I definitely recommend it. And look, I wish Amazon Luna and the lunatics all the best, man. They are carrying out the cloud gaming dream that captured mine and many others' imagination. And I hope they continue to build this platform. I hope we see more studios and developers and publishers begin to partner up with Luna over the next year. I hope they come to more countries. I hope they grow their lunatic community. And I hope they improve the product. I will still say, Last time we talked about Amazon Luna, we had an open door policy. You are more than welcome to come on the show. I would love to talk to somebody from Team Luna about the future of cloud gaming, the future of Amazon Luna, kind of how things operate internally as it comes to like what we're trying to do. And also just like, what do you want the gamers to know, right? There are a lot of cloud gamers that watch this show. What do you want them to know? Let's talk about some video games. But yeah, big week for Amazon Luna, and we will obviously continue to cover this news here on the channel. And if you want more Amazon Luna or cloud gaming news, make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you haven't done so already, hit the like button and share it with your grandma. But moving on from the world of cloud gaming, let's talk about Nintendo. Nintendo held a surprise direct this week, giving updates on games like Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, Pokemon Legends ZNA, along with revolutionizing the digital gaming landscape. But you know what this direct was missing? The Switch 2. Also, voice acting, right? I can kind of forgive the Switch 2 because we got the big Nintendo Switch 2 direct coming up here in the next couple weeks, but I don't understand how like Nintendo just ignores voice acting. Like it is 2025. How do first-party games on the Nintendo platform not have voice acting, right? Switch 2 is coming out. This direct that's next week. We're going to be doing a live stream for it. We're going to be talking about it. I hope that the big announcement of the Switch 2 is like, yes, we can do 4K, but more importantly, every Nintendo game moving forward will have voice acting. No more text boxes. It's 2025. Let's pay voice actors to make our games that much better. Good. You know, my wife was here. She'd be like, oh, it's because you don't know how to read. No, I know how to read. I just like being read too. But anyway, during this week's Nintendo Direct, Nintendo showed off 28 brand new games, and there was a lot of variety here, something for everybody. The biggest, in my opinion, was obviously the Metroid 4 Beyond reveal, a game that looks super dope, a game that we have been waiting on for a very, very long time, and a game that also has voice acting, right? There was a moment in this where we saw a cutscene, and there was voice acting, and I was like, what? Voice acting? In a Nintendo game? I apologize, sir. I was not familiar with your work. That's right. This week, Nintendo showed off brand new gameplay footage from Metroid Prime 4, a game that was originally announced in 2017 and said to itself, hold up. I am not going to miss out on the OG Switch generation. I will be the last game to launch on the console. And essentially, this is a first-person shooter game where Samus finds themselves on a tropical planet called Vuros. And in order to survive and escape Vuros, Samus must scan stone statues. Yeah, no, we're not making this up. I'm literally just reading off the transcript from the direct here. Now, to be fair, the trailer also showed us a little bit of run and gun gameplay, right? We got to see Samus turn into a ball. The gameplay does look very like Halo. It looks very like Doom, where you're just like running and gunning and spraying and praying. Samus will also have psychic abilities now that'll allow you to like move objects, open doors, and essentially control things with your mind. And Metroid Prime 4 looks super interesting, right? And like, I don't want to upset the Breath of the Wild fans out here, but it does look like it could be the best looking Switch game of all time. Like maybe the best Nintendo Switch game of this generation. And I can already hear the comments coming like from the Zelda fans of being like, Metroid Prime 4 looks like trash. But look, this is a very good looking Nintendo Switch game. And it does get me excited for the Switch 2 generation that maybe the games will start to look better. And then I saw a comment, right? I was watching this trailer back. I saw a little comment over on YouTube that said, hold up. How do we know that this is running on the Nintendo Switch? How do we know that this is OG Switch graphics? Maybe Metroid Prime 4, the trailer, maybe it's running on the Switch too. Likely. Very likely. Because this whole generation, I don't think I have ever seen a game that looks as smooth, that looks as good as Metroid Prime 4 does running on a Switch. And this could be next-gen graphics that we're seeing here. This could be Nintendo 2. That's speculation, right? Don't take my word for it. Don't go off on the interwebs. Don't go off on TikTok and YouTube Shorts and being like, oh my god, I just saw the Nintendo Switch 2 gameplay. Not true. Now, just my opinion here. Metroid Prime 4 is going to be a Switch 2 launch title. During the end of the trailer, it was like coming 2025. Somehow 7 years into development, and they still don't have an actual release window. They just have like a year. But we also had games that were like holiday 2025. So I think if you take that and look at like coming 2025, this is going to come before the holiday season. And I think that this would be a great game to launch with the Nintendo Switch 2. And I'm very, very intrigued by that. So one of the other games that Nintendo showed off was Pokemon Legends Z and A. And Nintendo gave it some time to shine during the Direct. The Pokemon present that happened left a lot of questions. And I think a lot of frustration among the internet gaming community. And I got to say, after watching this, Man, they are really proud of Lumio City. You know, again, I don't want to be a hater. I don't want to be someone that's just talking negative about it. But you look at the buildings in the game, and there's no depth. They all look flat. There's no reflections in the windows. There's no like light bursts. There's all the windows look exactly the same across all the buildings. And it's just one of those, again, that I'm like, it's 2025. And I want to be clear. This is not the fact that it's like, it needs to be like realistic graphics, and Pokemon games don't have to look beautiful, right? We can at least make Pokemon look like a game that released in 2025. Pokemon Snap, beautiful, right? The characters in that game, the Pokemon in that character looked great. The environments looked beautiful. And then you take like the lush jungles of Pokemon Snap, and then you take these wild zones, and you're just like, cool. Glad we're going back in time right now. But yeah, during the Direct, we also got an extended look at the wild zones where wild Pokemon will live here. This is where you will train, you will catch, and you will get attacked by Pokemon if you're not careful. But then Pokemon and Nintendo kind of surprised me. They announced something that was called ZA Royale. Yeah, once the sun drops and nighttime comes along, ZA Royale happens. 100 trainers drop into the battlefield. You must capture a Pokemon, train it, level it up, search, build, and become the best Pokemon trainer alive. Survive the other 99 players to become the winner chicken dinner. Nope, that is not what that mode is. That would be a dope mode. If Pokemon did want to do like a battle royale, I think that a lot of people would be in for that, right? Drop into the battlefield, catch your first Pokemon, level them up, you know, start getting some berries, get them angry, like get your Pokemon going, go into battle, right? Become the last trainer standing. That would be cool. Yeah, there's been quite a few people that have been talking about this, that like essentially the ZA Royale is kind of what you're going to be doing through the story. There's no rivals, there's nothing like a Elite Four, there's not like collecting badges, you're just working your way up through the ZA tier list, and you get your wish granted at the end. It's cool, right? I don't want to upset anybody who are like, that sounds like a fun Pokemon experience. Personally, I would much rather a Pokemon Battle Royale game, but like, hey, mazel tov to them. I hope you enjoy this game. Pokemon Legends NA is scheduled to launch in late 2025. And then Nintendo like really surprised me because they announced a brand new digital share feature for Nintendo Switch owners. And I think this is incredible, right? Nintendo has done a very good job of like coming out and creating a feature that personally, after seeing it, I'm like, man, why don't other platforms have this? This is something that every platform should be embracing. And essentially, they are now giving every Switch owner the ability to live out the dreams of being a 2000s blockbuster owner. And I think that's should be applauded here. Essentially, virtual game cards will now allow you to loan out digital games to family members or friends for up to 14 days. And once the time runs out, the game then returns to your library. And look, this is just my assumption here because we don't have a ton of details, but it's sounding a whole lot like when you loan a game out, you can't play it yourself, which again is not a deal breaker. I don't think that that's really what this is designed to be, where you're just sharing games. And when we're talking about the Nintendo virtual game cards, I do think it's important to note here, Nintendo did say an internet connection is required to install, load, and also inject the game from your platform, which, if you'll excuse me for a second. Hello. Today, I will be auditioning for the role of outraged internet gamer. It requires an internet connection? How dare Nintendo! I am going to write a super nasty tweet, hire a bunch of nasty bots, and then I'm going to review bomb this video to make it the most review bombed video of all time. And I'm going to do all of this using an internet connection because I hate internet connections because it is 2025 and irony is dead! Ha 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 ha! And scene. Now, Nintendo's digital game lending will begin to roll out with the brand new system update that will be coming to the platform in late April. Plus, Nintendo did say this will work for loading games between the OG Switch and the Switch 2 console, which I kind of think is like, hey, this is how we're going to address digital backwards compatibility. I hope that you can just download the games you've already bought through the store, but if this is how we have to do it, whatever, like cool, we can at least do that. Having to do it every 14 days might suck, but you know, we'll take our wins for when we can, especially when it's a company like Nintendo. The next announcement really shocked me, right? This was a big announcement for Nintendo, and I gotta say, I'm really hyped about this. High on Life is coming to the Nintendo Switch. And if you haven't played this game is such a gem. Let's pull up the trailer real quick. Squanch Games did such a great job with this game. I highly recommend that everyone who's like 18 and older gets the opportunity to play this game. The gameplay, fantastic. The visuals are awesome. And the writing in this game is some of the most comedic and funny writing that I think we've ever gotten in a video game. And I was laughing, smiling, and enjoying the game the entire time. I played this on Xbox. Now that it's coming to the Nintendo Switch, I've got a couple trips where I'm going to be flying quite a bit. I'm probably going to pick it up on the Switch so I can play it while I'm flying, because High on Life is a great game. And High on Life will be available for the Nintendo Switch 2 starting May 6th. And then the last game that really intrigued me here was Marvel Cosmic Invasion. And I say intrigued because this was like a nostalgia bomb for me, right? Essentially, Marvel Comic Invasion is an arcade-style beat-em-up video game where you pick 2 of 15 Marvel characters and you like side-scroll 2D fight your enemies. Yeah, Nostalgia City. Many, many summers of young Brian's life were spent playing Marvel arcade video games, and this looks so much like the games that I grew up with. I genuinely can't wait. I think this looks super cool, and I'll definitely be picking this up. And the other cool thing, too, is, right, you're playing this at home by yourself. You're like, man, I wish my friends were here. The game supports co-op, right? You can play couch co-op, or you can play online with up to 4 of your friends. Yeah, this game looks super cool. Hopefully it doesn't cost $70. Hopefully it's like a $29 game. If so, 100% picking this up. It will be launching in holiday of 2025. And then the final announcement for the Nintendo Direct kind of came out of left field, but I think it's super cool. Shigeru Miyamoto introduced a brand new Nintendo news service pumping out daily gaming news, which, hold up. Whoa. What are we doing here, Miyamoto? I thought the deal was that you don't go into my space, I don't go into yours. A daily gaming news show? Excuse me? A daily gaming news? Excuse me. I mean, we are far from a daily gaming news show, but these are my streets, Nintendo man. The new service, Nintendo Today, is a brand new app available right now for iOS and Android devices, and will essentially allow Nintendo to send out daily news updates surrounding video games, movies, hardware, TV shows, directs, and much more. And yesterday, Nintendo was like, welcome to the app. We're going to start it off with the banger, Legend of Zelda, a live-action film will be releasing March 26th of 2027. Like, if this is what we're getting from the app, I feel like a lot of people are going to have this installed. I've got it installed right now, and I'm really looking forward to this. Overall, great Direct. I mean, obviously, there's no Switch 2 news. I think that should be expected. Like, we know we're getting a Nintendo Switch 2 Direct on April 2nd, and I think everybody is just super excited for that. And maybe, like, we're all excited for that this was, like, cool news, but we're all just like, man, yes, we opened one present on Christmas Eve, but man, we can't wait for Christmas. And I feel like that's where we're at right now, because April 2nd can't get here soon enough. And I'm sure Nintendo agrees, because there's been a lot of information that I'm sure Nintendo would like to be in charge of, but the internet has been leaking for them. Like, essentially this week, Best Buy Canada came out and was like, hey, pre-orders for the Nintendo Switch 2, April 2nd, $399, and then that got taken down real fast. Like, whoops, sorry. Apologies down there to Nintendo, but our Canadian neighbors definitely kind of leaked that one. And then Nintendo, in the Nintendo Today app, showed a photo of the Switch 2 that pretty much just like confirmed the long rumor C button. So it's like we got to see that on there. And while everyone is wanting like release dates and like wanting to figure this out, we also found out this week dev kits from Nintendo potentially haven't even been sent out yet. And then that kind of grows because you hear Insider Gaming's Tom Henderson came out and he's like, hey, during GDC I talked to a lot of developers who are working on Nintendo's platform, and they said that Nintendo is working on like a 3-phase launch cycle when it comes to the Switch 2. And phase 1 will basically be the console launches with all of our first party games. Phase 2 will be like October, November, which basically will mean like third-party studios will have the opportunity to use those dev kits and port their games. And then Phase 3 will be the other games that Nintendo has that are internally targeting the holiday season. A lot of excitement in the world of Nintendo. We will obviously be coming here live in the studio on April 2nd to stream and watch along with the Nintendo Direct here with all of you as it develops. And as always, if you want more Nintendo news, or as the Nintendo Switch 2 comes out, you want all the details, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Like the video and always share it with your grandma. That's it for this week's episode of the Nerf Report. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me this week. A lot of y'all in the comments said I didn't have a lot of eye contact with y'all, and I would like to apologize to each of you who feel that I don't stare at you enough. I tried my best this week to look at the camera as much as possible, but in honor of your frustrations, I would like to take these next 15 seconds to give you uninterrupted eye contact. You good? All right. I just felt like I was doing like a Instagram dirty countdown right there. I did not like how that felt. So hopefully you got enough eye contact this week. Thank y'all for your continued support. I appreciate you hanging out with me this weekend. And until next time, my friends, we will see you in the next video.